What happens if you invest $10 a day? It doesn't sound like a life changing question, but the answer is exactly the kind of thing people underestimate until it's too late. Because $10 feels small, it feels almost pointless, like it won't move the needle. But that's the trap most people fall into. They wait until they have big money to start instead of realizing that consistency beats the size almost every time. And when you actually run the numbers, what looks small on a daily level turns into something that can completely change your financial future. $10 a day is $70 a week, about $300 a month, and $3,600 a year, which already sounds more serious than you zoom out. But the real power is not in the amount, it's in what happens when you combine the consistency with time and compound growth. Because investing is not about how much you put in one time, it's about how long your money is working for you. Let's start simple. If you just save $10 a day with no investing at all, and after 10 years, you would have about $36,000, which is solid. Not life changing for most people, but investing changes everything because your money starts generating returns, and those returns start generating their own returns. And that's where things start to get interesting. If you invest $10 a day into something like a broad market index fund averaging around 7% annually, which is commonly used during long-term estimates, after 10 years you're not at 36,000, you're closer to 50,000, which already shows the difference. But the real magic shows up when you stretch the timeline, because most people underestimate time more than anything else. After 20 years of investing $10 a day at that same average return, you're looking at roughly $150,000 now. It's starting to feel real. But here's where it gets crazy, because after 30 years, you're pushing close to your $400,000, and that's still only $10 a day. Nothing extreme, nothing unrealistic, just consistency and time doing the heavy lifting. And if you go even further to 40 years, which is basically a working lifetime, you're looking at somewhere around $800,000 to over $1 million, depending on the market performance. And that's the moment it clicks, because that's retirement level money built from what most people spend without thinking every single day. And the key thing to understand here is that the growth is not linear. It accelerates slowly at first and then rapidly later, on which is why people who start early have such a massive advantage, because they give their investments more time to compound. And compounding is not just growth, it's exponential growth, meaning the longer you stay consistent, the faster your money starts growing near the end. Another thing people don't talk about is how this habit changes your mindset, because investing $10 a day forces you to think differently about spending it. It makes you more intentional. It creates discipline. And over time, most people naturally increase that amount as their income grows. So $10 a day doesn't stay $10 forever. It often becomes 15, 20 or more, which massively increases the end result. And let's address the reality, because markets don't return a perfect 7% every year. Some years are up, some are down, and sometimes way down. And that scares people into stopping, but the people who win are the ones who stay consistent through those ups and the downs, because when the market drops, your fixed $10 actually buys more shares, which sets you up for bigger gains when the market recovers. And that's called dollar cost averaging. And it's one of the simplest, most powerful strategies out there. Another factor is inflation, because money in the future won't have the same buying power as today. So while those numbers sound big, you still need to account for rising costs over time, which is exactly why investing is necessary in the first place. Because just saving money without growth often means you're actually losing value over the long run. Taxes also play a role too, depending on where and how you invest, because gains in taxable accounts can reduce your net return, while tax advantage accounts like retirement plans can help you keep more of what you earn, which makes a noticeable difference over decades. So, where you put your $10 matters just as much as the fact that you're investing it. Now, here's where people usually push back. They say, I don't have $10 a day or that won't change my life, or I'll start later when I make more money. But the reality is, most people do have $10 a day. They just spend it on things that they don't build anything long term. And start later is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make because you lose the one thing you can't get back, which is time. And even a few years delay can cost you tens of thousands of dollars and potential growth. To put that into perspective, though, someone who starts investing $10 a day at 25 could end up with nearly double the amount of someone who starts at 35, even if they invest the same daily amount, because those extra 10 years of compounding make a massive difference. And that's why starting early beats starting big almost every time. Another overlooked benefit is flexibility, because building this kind of habit creates optional options over time, whether that's early retirement, career changes, starting a business, or simply having a financial cushion that reduces the stress and gives you more control over your life. And that freedom is often more valuable than the raw dollar amount itself. It's also important to understand that investing $10 a day is not about getting rich quick. It's about building wealth slowly and predictably, which is less exciting but far more reliable, because the people who chase fast money often lose it, while the people who stay consistently quiet build something that lasts. And if you're thinking this only works in theory, it doesn't. This is exactly how many long term investors build wealth, not through massive one time wins, but through small, consistent contributions over long periods of time. Combined with patience and discipline, the biggest obstacle is not money, it's behavior, because sticking to this habit for years requires consistency, especially when you don't see immediate results and when the market is down and when life gets in the way. But those are the moments that separate people who build wealth from people who don't. So, what actually happens if you invest $10 a day is simple, but it's powerful. You build a system that turns small daily actions into long-term financial growth. You take advantage of compounding. You reduce the impact of market timing. You develop discipline, and over time, you create something that most people never do, which is a reliable path towards financial stability and eventually financial freedom. And the truth is not that $10 a day will instantly change your life. The truth is that it gives you a realistic, repeatable way to build wealth over time. The sooner you start, the more powerful it becomes, because in investing, time is just not important, it's everything. And the difference between starting now and starting later is not as small, it's massive. Thanks for watching today. If you found value in today's video, would you please drop a subscription? Without you, I can't grow at all, and I need them subscriptions. Obviously, I'm really low on subscriptions, so I need that to grow, says YouTube. So if you found value, please subscribe. Also, feel free to comment or like down below. I'd love to hear from you. Any positive comment, I always reply to, and if it's negative, don't waste your time or mine. Thanks for watching. Also, check out this video to the right. It can also help you on your financial journey. Thanks for watching. Take care.